Welcome to the Explainer. Okay, today we're jumping right into something I find absolutely fascinating. We're going to look at exactly how you take a simple, boring patch of backyard dirt and transform it into a fully legal, beautiful, and totally comfortable home. I mean, from the outside, it honestly seems like pure magic, right? But as you'll see today, it's actually just incredibly strategic.
So, if you've ever watched a construction crew roll up to a property and just marveled at how fast a whole structure rises out of the ground, you've probably wondered, how does this massive project actually come to life? If you try to read standard building manuals, oh man, it is so easy to get totally bogged down by all that heavy technical builder jargon. But today, we're stripping all of that away. We're breaking down the exact step-by-step guide to the granny flat build process. We're pulling straight from standard construction workflows to make it completely crystal clear for you. Okay, let's dive into this 15-step blueprint. We've grouped the whole shebang into 5 really logical phases. We start with phase 1, groundwork and site preparation. Then phase 2, foundations and structural framing. Next up is phase 3, lockup and rough-in. Then phase 4 takes us through interiors, fit-out, and finishes. And finally, phase 5, final inspections and handover. So, kicking things off with phase 1, groundwork and site preparation. Now, long before any walls go up or a single drop of concrete is poured, the foundational boundaries and hidden infrastructure have to be established right there in the dirt. This is a rapid-fire progression of breaking ground. First up is step 1, site establishment. Setting up your temporary fences, erosion control, safety signs. Then comes step 2, the site set out. And right on the heels of that is step 3, underground services. Because before the foundation can even start, licensed plumbers and electricians are out there installing the hidden lifelines. We're talking sewer lines, stormwater drainage, water supply. They're even digging trenches for electrical mains and NBN conduits. Oh, and if there are existing services in the yard, like, say, an old gas line or some garden irrigation that's just totally in the way, well, step 4 ensures those get properly relocated. And this brilliantly illustrates a step that might seem kind of small, but it's honestly one of the most important in the entire build. The site set out. A licensed land surveyor comes out and literally drives pegs into the ground to mark the building corners, the grid lines, and the legal boundary clearances. So why is this so absolutely crucial? Well, think about it. If you skip this or get it wrong, you could accidentally build a piece of your brand new granny flat on your neighbor's property, or completely violate your approved plans. Those little wooden pegs prevent catastrophic, messy, legal border disputes before things even get off the ground. Let's move to phase 2 and see how this builds into foundations and structural framing. This is that exciting moment where the structure finally starts popping up out of the ground and your backyard really starts looking like a legit construction site. This is step 5, the base stage. And what's really key to understand here is that builders don't just guess how to build the foundation, right? The actual site conditions dictate the engineering. So if your backyard is sloping, builders will typically use concrete or treated timber stumps. They'll excavate stump holes, pour concrete footings, and then set up bearers and joists to create a nice level floor right over that uneven ground. But if your site is perfectly flat, they're probably going to go with a concrete slab, usually a waffle pod slab. That involves a crushed rock base, moisture membranes, steel reinforcement mesh, and a massive concrete pour that gets smoothed out with a power trowel. Either way, a building surveyor absolutely must inspect this base before the concrete is finalized. Once that base gets the green light, we hit step 6, the frame stage. I want you to think of this as the load-bearing skeleton of the living organism we're building. For the floor structure, you've got your bearers and joists. Moving on up, you have the external and internal wall frames. Those are your load-bearing studs and window openings. And then, capping the whole thing off is the roof frame, which might use prefabricated roof trusses or just conventional rafters and ridge beams. Once this timber or steel skeleton is fully standing and braced, the building surveyor actually comes right back for a mandatory frame inspection, just to make sure your new living room won't blow away in a stiff breeze.
All right, moving right along to phase 3, lockup and rough-in.
For you, the homeowner watching from the back porch sipping coffee, this phase is where the visual progress seems like it's in fast forward. The project transforms from a timber skeleton into something that actually finally looks like a house. Step 7 is what builders call the lock-up stage, and it's pretty much exactly what it sounds like. It is a literal race against the weather. The goal is to get the skin on the building, so that means installing the metal or tiled roofing, the gutters, the external cladding, whether that's weatherboards, brick veneer, or maybe Hebel panels, and finally fitting those aluminium windows and external doors. Once the wall wrap is on and you can physically lock the doors, The building is officially weatherproof. This is a massive milestone because it means all the delicate internal work can safely push forward, even if it's completely pouring rain outside.
Now, what's really interesting about this side is what happens immediately after lockup. That's step 8, the rough-in. If the frame is the skeleton, well, the rough-in is the installation of the veins and the nervous system. Licensed trades come in and run all the concealed services right through those open wall cavities. Plumbers are in there running hot and cold water pipes and waste vents. Electricians are pulling literally miles of wiring for power circuits, smoke alarms, and exhaust fans. Heck, even the NBN conduits and the air conditioning split system pipes are laid down now. Everything is perfectly positioned before the walls get closed up for good.
Which brings us to phase 4, interiors, fit-out, and finishes.
So, closing up those walls means the dusty, messy construction zone really shifts gears, and the structure starts transforming into a beautiful, highly detailed, livable space. Step 9 is hanging the plasterboard and adding insulation, which just magically hides all that complex rough-in work we just talked about. But immediately following that is step 10, waterproofing. And actually, we need to pause here for a second because this is absolutely vital. A licensed waterproofer must come in and seal the shower recesses, the bathroom floors, and the laundry areas, strictly adhering to Australian standards. If this step is rushed or skipped, unseen water ingress will absolutely rot that beautiful timber frame we were just admiring earlier. Proper waterproofing is the absolute key to creating a safe, mold-free home that's going to last for decades. All right, right after waterproofing, we hit step 11, the fit-out stage. The source text lists a massive amount of tasks here, but honestly, we can organize them pretty simply into 3 distinct zones. In the kitchen, it's all about installing the cabinetry, stone benchtops, sinks, and your appliances like the oven and range hood. In the bathroom, the focus shifts to the vanity, the shower, the toilets, and all the wall tiling. And for the general interiors, it's all about those aesthetic finishes. Hanging the internal doors, installing the skirting boards, laying down the hybrid or timber flooring, and finally applying those fresh coats of paint. Oh, and at this point, the licensed plumbers and electricians come back for their fit-off, which is where they install the actual tapware, the power points, and the light fittings.
And that leads us into the home stretch with phase 5, final inspections and handover.
Finally, all the external works, your decking, driveways, the landscaping, are completely wrapped up, bringing us to the very end of the line. The dust is settling, the paint is drying, and we're actively transitioning this physical building into a legally approved living space. The timeline to the finish line looks exactly like this. In the final weeks, we reach step 13, practical completion. The builder tests absolutely everything, and the owner does a walkthrough to create a punch list of minor defects. You know, maybe a door is a little stiff or there's a tiny scuff on the wall, stuff for the builder to fix up. Then comes step 14, the final inspection. The building surveyor returns one last time to verify the granny flat completely complies with the Building Code of Australia. And when they give that ultimate green light, the occupancy permit gets issued. Which leads us to the moment we've all been waiting for. Day 0, step 15, handover. So the crucial point is what actually changes hands at the very end of this massive journey. The homeowner doesn't just get a shiny set of keys. Oh no, they receive a comprehensive handover package. This includes the occupancy permit, which makes it 100% legal to live in. It includes the electrical and plumbing certificates of compliance, proving the whole place is totally safe. Plus, you get your waterproofing warranty and all the manuals for your new appliances. This package represents total compliance, safety, and ultimate peace of mind for the homeowner. So there you have it. We've taken a highly technical, 15-step construction process and revealed the predictable, logical blueprint underneath it all. From that very first surveyor's peg getting hammered into the dirt, all the way to the final handover of the keys, you now know exactly what is happening behind the temporary fencing of a build site. Now that you understand how this blueprint becomes a reality and how incredibly manageable this step-by-step process truly is, the only real question left is, how will you transform your own backyard? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I will catch you next time.